What is cyberbullying? Cyberbullying refers to the use of digital technology to harass, threaten, or humiliate another user. Some examples are harassment. In the context, cyberbullying refers to the deliberate, repeated, and hostile behavior aimed at a specified individual or group with the intention of causing distress, fear, or humiliation. This form of bullying leverages digital communication tools to target victims, like threatening messages, sending messages that contain threats of violence or harm to one another, or offensive comments, which are posting or sending derogatory or hateful remarks aimed at a specified victim. Denigration in the context of cyberbullying refers to the act of spreading false, damaging, and malicious information about someone with the intent to harm the reputation or relationships. Impersonation is also known as masquerading. It involves someone pretending to be the victim online. By accessing their accounts, creating fake profiles in the victim's names, the impersonator poses damages and inappropriate content to harm the victim's reputation, relationships, or emotional well-being. Like false identity, the bully will prevent to be the victim by using their personal information, photos, or other identifying details. Deceptive behavior in this is also the impersonator engages in actions that the real person would not approve or participate in. Outing and trickery are two related forms of cyberbullying that involve manipulating and exposing someone's personal information or secrets without their consent. Outing refers to the act of publicly revealing someone's private, sensitive, or embarrassing information. Trickery involves deceiving someone into revealing personal information or secrets, which the perpetrator then shares publicly to embarrass or harm victims. Exclusion refers to the deliberate excluding someone from an online group, community, or activity with the intention of causing emotional harm and making them feel isolated or unwelcome. An example of this would be blocking or unfriending, removing someone from a friends list, or blocking them on social media platforms to cut off communication or interaction. Finally, cyberstalking in the context of cyberbullying refers to the use of digital technology to harass, intimidate, and repeatedly follow someone online. This persistence and intrusive behavior can create significant distress and fear in the victim. Unlike other forms of cyberbullying, cyberstalking is characterized by its repetitive nature and the stalker's intent to control or frighten the victim. How does cyberbullying happen? Cyberbullying occurs through various digital platforms and communication channels, often exploiting the anonymity and reach of the internet. Some examples being public shaming, posting embarrassing or private photos, videos, or details online without the victim's consent. This form of cyberbullying leverages the wide reach of the internet to expose the victim's faults or mistakes to a broad audience, amplifying the impact and causing significant emotional distress. Trolling is posting offensive comments online to provoke an emotional response. For example, causing disruption or inciting conflict. Unlike other forms of cyberbullying that may focus on targeted harassment, trolling is often characterized by a broader aim to upset or anger users and disrupt online communities. Hate speech is attacking someone with discriminatory language such as race, religion, ethnicity, sexual orientation, gender, identity, or disability. Hate speech is characterized by its intent to demean, intimidate, or incite violence or hostility against vulnerable groups. Harassment messages are sending threatening or abusive messages. Harassment can be characterized by persistent, unwanted interactions designed to intimidate, threaten, or otherwise distress the victim. Spreading rumors is posting false information to harm someone's reputation. This form of cyberbullying is often used to manipulate public perception or create conflict. How and where does it really happen? Most platforms and channels used for cyberbullying are like social media. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, and TikTok are commonly used to post harmful content, spread rumors, or engage in hostile interactions. It can also happen in messaging apps like WhatsApp, Messenger, Telegram, and SMS. These can be used to send threatening or abusive messages. One of the main causes are online games. Multiplayer games often include chat functions that can be used for harassment and bullying. Cyberbullies can even send intimidating or malicious emails via email.
As previously discussed, cyberbullying often stems from personal insecurity or a desire to elevate social status at school by humiliating their peers. While these are some underlying reasons, it is crucial to recognize the significant harm that online actions can inflict. The effects of cyberbullying can manifest immediately and endure well into adulthood. Cyberbullying aims to evoke a reaction from the victim. Some immediate consequences are often exhibited in psychological, emotional, and physical forms impacting a student's daily activities. A student being harassed online may struggle to concentrate in class or even skip school, leading to a decline in academic performance. One short-term effect of cyberbullying is its impact on a student's sleeping habits. Victims may battle insomnia or wake up in the middle of the night with nightmares. Adequate sleep is crucial for young minds as sleep deprivation can increase anxiety levels, hinder academic performance, and cause overall lethargy. Victims of cyberbullying can also experience psychosomatic symptoms, where psychological distress leads to physical symptoms without a clear medical cause. Some symptoms include an upset stomach, high blood pressure, trouble breathing, insomnia, and migraines. These symptoms often appear before the start of a school day, with anxiety so intense that it causes stomach problems or panic attacks, leading to school avoidance. As listed, short-term effects include poor mental health, sleeping problems, psychosomatic disorders, skipping school, emotional distress, and difficulty socializing with peers. This is a non-comprehensive list as short-term effects of cyberbullying occur in a wide variety, all of which having a negative impact on the victim's well-being. The immediate aftermath of online bullying is both pervasive and damaging. It is crucial to recognize and address these short-term consequences promptly to prevent long-term psychological or physical harm. While cyberbullying calls for a rather instantaneous effect on the victim, it also has long-lasting impacts on the targeted student. As the digital harassment continues, it can lead to chronic psychological issues such as chronic anxiety, depression, post-traumatic stress disorder, or eating disorders. Most of the short-term effects impacted by cyberbullying can turn into long-term effects depending on the severity and frequency of the online bullying. Victims of bullying have also reported various lasting forms of physical and social suffering, self-destructive behavior, depression, isolation, and negative psychological impact. These effects can significantly impact students, extending into their careers by hindering their ability to address authority, engage in public speaking, or develop overall career readiness influenced by their past school experiences. Stemming from short-term socialization difficulties, a long-term effect of cyberbullying can be the struggle to form lasting friendships or relationships. Trust issues often underlie these difficulties, especially if a student's friends were their cyberbullies. Such betrayal can have a profound negative impact on the victim's ability to trust others in the future. Due to a negative effects on a victim's mental health, it makes them a greater risk of enduring self-harm or suicidal ideation. The Suicide Prevention Resource Center found that children and young people under the age of 25 who were victims of cyberbullying were more than twice as likely to engage in self-harm and suicidal behaviors than their non-victim peers. This shows the urgent need for targeted interventions and support systems to address the detrimental impact of cyberbullying on youth mental health. The listed long-term effects are perpetual isolation, non-confrontational, chronic mental illness, general mistrust in others, family impact. A victim's family might feel guilty or helpless navigating their child's experiences, lasting physical effects, and substance abuse such as drugs, alcohol, and addiction. Short-term and long-term effects of cyberbullying are interconnected and emphasize the need to mitigate short-term impacts to prevent them from manifesting into enduring consequences in adulthood. Young minds are highly impressionable, often retaining negative experiences more intensely than positive ones. Educating students about the significance of kindness and respect, particularly in online interactions, is crucial. By introducing these values early on, we can actively prevent cyberbullying and foster a supportive environment for our future generation.
The most common types of cyberbullying found in schools are harassment, exclusion, and cyberstalking. Harassment occurs when students participate in non-consensual online interaction, such as sending unwanted emails, texts, or direct messages. Although students may think they are not being harmful by repeatedly sending messages, it can burden the victim if it continues for days. Exclusion occurs when students are left out of online groups either accidentally or intentionally. Often the victim may be part of a group of friends in person, but may not be added to their online group chat, which causes the feeling of being excluded. Cyberstalking occurs when harassment is done intensely and induces fear in the victim. Women and girls are more likely to suffer from cyberstalking, but men and boys may also be victims now and then. Nonetheless, cyberstalking is more prominent in school environments such as middle schools and high schools. Cyberbullying is often easily done via social media, messaging apps, and gaming platforms. This is especially true for students, since it seems to be where they spend most of their time interacting with others online. Friends may joke with each other online, catch up with each other, or simply work on an assignment that is due via these platforms. Social media sites are popular with students as they allow them to connect and update their friends about their lives. Additionally, schools may require them to have social media apps so that they can post about school events such as sports or rallies. Cyberbullying can be found in almost every social media platform, unfortunately. Students may leak private photos of other students to their page, tag them in offensive posts, or simply call them out in a post to harass them. Thankfully, these social media platforms have regulations that prevent intensive cyberbullying. Messaging apps can spawn horrible conversation about other students, teachers, and more. Since most messaging apps are privately stored on the student's device and only accessible to them, it is often here that cruel jokes, comments, and photos are shared. Group messages takes a step further and introduces a path for multiple people to participate in cyberbullying. Although the victim may not be directly involved as a member of these groups, the simple act of having a group harass other students or talk bad about them is enough to count as cyberbullying. Lastly, gaming platforms seem to be the equivalent of social media and messaging apps for cyberbullying. Unlike messages and posts, voice chat provides no way to trace back any cyberbullying taking place. It is more likely for boys to participate in cyberbullying taking place on gaming platforms, and often they do not hold back on anything because there are no serious consequences except for suspensions and account bans. Although schools prove to be the safe place for many, it is often not the case for others. Children, preteens, and teenagers often face environments that are toxic in person, and it is the teenagers who often take the bullying to an online space. These students are at an age where they do not care for the feelings of others and even less so for what they post online. Children may not be able to participate in cyberbullying, but with the introduction of a mobile device early in their lives, they may be the victims of cyberbullying. Young adults in college are more likely to suffer from reputational damage with viral videos of them indulging in embarrassing or illegal behavior. It is in college where they exposed to reality and may experience separation from their closest friends they grew up with. Some young adults may be at different places in life, such as marriage, college, or work, and the use of online spaces can create unwelcoming environments for different groups. Cyberbullying for young adults may not be as severe as when they were younger, but it is still important to make note of it. Minority groups may already face discrimination based on their economic or social status without being online. This makes them easier targets for other students to voice their opinion about them in online spaces, since they may have different backgrounds that will also have different standards and etiquette for using the internet. Often there will be harassment among the minorities themselves as they try to fit in. Minority groups can be targeted based on race, sexual orientation, or beliefs. We must protect the minority and ensure that they are being treated with respect even in an online environment. Women and girls are more likely to be the victims of cyberstalking, as I mentioned earlier. Cyberstalking may happen when the stalker follows them on social media, messages them repeatedly, or comments on their posts nonstop. Cyberstalking is often preceded by in-person stalking behavior, so it is important to teach young women and girls how to look out for potential stalkers online. Being a minority group themselves, people with disabilities also have a tough time in school without the introduction of online spaces. People with disabilities often made fun of or discriminated against by other classmates in online spaces, and it may be easier for them to voice their opinions. It is here that morbid comments may take place.
Cyberbullying is a significant issue impacting students of all ages. Unlike traditional bullying, cyberbullying can occur 24/7, reach a wide audience quickly, and often allows the bully to remain anonymous. So let's look into some statistics on how many students are affected. High school students grades 9 to 12 experience significant levels of online harassment. Studies indicate that approximately 15 to 20% of high school students are bullied online. This translates to more than 1 out of every 5 students. Middle school students grades 6 to 8 face even higher rates of cyberbullying, with around 20 to 30% reporting instances of online harassment. This age group is particularly vulnerable due to their developmental stage and increased use of technology. Now, while cyberbullying is less common among elementary school students, which is grades kinder to 5th grade, it still affects approximately 5 to 10% of this younger demographic. This early exposure can have lasting negative effects on their development and well-being. Female teenagers are disproportionately affected by cyberbullying compared to male teenagers. Data from the National Center for Education Statistics shows that 22.4% of female students aged 12 to 18 reported being victims of cyberbullying, either online or via text, compared to 7.6% of male students who were affected. This disparity underscores the need for targeted support for female students. Now let's look at Texas as a whole. When comparing Texas to the rest of the United States, about 16% of students reported being electronically bullied in the past 12 months, slightly higher than the national average of 15%. Despite these figures, Texas was ranked 45th place for more cyberbullying issues compared to the 50 states, which is really good. However, there is still room for improvement in addressing and reducing cyberbullying incidents. Given the serious and lasting impact of cyberbullying on students, it is crucial to implement effective prevention methods within schools. These methods not only protect students' mental health, but also foster a safe and inclusive learning environment. One of the most effective ways to prevent cyberbullying is through education and awareness programs. Schools can implement workshops where students learn about cybersecurity, how to stay safe online, and how to spot, report, and deal with cyberbullying. For instance, a program can be introduced where students participate in interactive sessions and role-playing scenarios to understand the impact of cyberbullying and the importance of responsible online behavior. Parental involvement is also key to preventing cyberbullying. Schools can host informational sessions for parents to educate them about cyberbullying, its signs, and how to address it. These sessions can include practical tips such as setting up parental controls on devices, encouraging open communication with their children, and establishing family guidelines for internet use. Providing parents with resources like articles and websites about cyberbullying can also be helpful. Promoting a positive school environment is another great prevention method for cyberbullying. Schools can launch initiatives where students can participate in activities that promote inclusivity and respect. Peer mentoring programs can also be established where older students support younger ones in navigating social challenges and promoting positive behavior. Recognizing and rewarding students who demonstrate kindness and respect both online and offline can also reinforce a positive school climate. Schools must have clear policies and procedures regarding the use of electronic devices as well. A school district might establish a policy that outlines acceptable online behavior and the consequences for cyberbullying. This policy can be communicated through student handbooks, school websites, and assemblies. Additionally, schools can use software to monitor students' online activity on school devices to detect and address cyberbullying early.
This concludes the TLT Tomorrow's Leaders Today Cyberbullying in Schools Identifying Consequences and Prevention presentation.